Good evening.
Good evening.
We are here, and once again, it is our great pleasure to be in your reality. We are gathered at the Dancing Moon on a stormy Thursday evening. Weather's moving in, and the number of this evening's class is 1, 2, 3. How do you like that? 1, 2, 3, Moon Musings. And it is Cinco de Mayo, May number 5, 2016. A bit on the cool side for the early part of May. And just as we were coming in to give our greetings to a cozy grouping here at the Moon, you were discussing a movie that our Roger said he heard about called Climate Hustle. Is that correct? Climate Hustle. And then our vehicle was bringing up the documentary Vaxxed, which is uncovering the connections between vaccinations and potential downside of disrupting the body and ending in autism and all manner of biological turmoil. And then Climate Hustle. Wow, what a title. It's both are exposing other sides of the story. And you know, in any type of fair and balanced reporting or exploring of the truth, you have to look at all sides. And yet, as our vehicle was pointing out to you, the theme of this year is supreme chaos and confusion. And we will say that this summer you will have two camps that will be up in arms against each other. One that is firmly entrenched in common sense, and another that is running towards chaos, running with chaos, helping chaos unfold. In other words, the summer could be quite a bit of chaotic energy all around the planet. Do not think that this chaos is solely attributed to your current political situation, where it looks like the trumpet right now, as we refer to him, and Shrillery, as we refer to her. It must be she heard that nickname because she doesn't seem to be as shrill quite anymore. She's dropping her voice down, so it is more, let's say, listenable. Nonetheless, Hillary has 5 planets or something in Scorpio. She's loaded with secrets. Scorpio is a sign of secrets until a person gets very highly evolved. And it appears that Hillary's sun is in the 12th house. Not exactly a prominent position to be a president, although we will say George Bush number 2, who was a Cancer. He was birthday very close to July 4th, birthday July 6th, we believe. So he epitomized your country. He was a feeling man, used completely by the globalists, his family, all of them, Cheney, they used him tremendously. He also had a 12th house sun. And that would mean that if you became president, and your sun, the birth energy, is located in the 12th house of mental instability, prisons, hospitals, and confinement, that it's not going to be a very pleasant presidency. You are going to feel, with the 12th house sun, trapped in the White House. And it could be that the destiny of the country deserves a Hillary, because there's no doubt about it. If she and Bill, who seems to be sabotaging her at every turn, of course it's his unconscious potato that is very threatened by the idea of her being a president and superseding him, but nonetheless, if they are to waltz into what is the number 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the country will be at war within itself, because again, the two of the Clintons have what is a term called a rap sheet, and we are not talking in terms of hip-hop and rappers. It is the old dragnet. Didn't they call it a rap sheet back then? It meant your criminal activities. They have a rap sheet miles long. So, of course, this will throw the country into complete turmoil. And then the trumpet has so many secrets. And he has lots of stuff that, as the rich and wealthy do, they get bored, you know. And they tend to think that they live separately from others, and that their morality is separate from others. And already the trumpet is being called upon by many that he does not hold women, including his own and his family, in the highest of respect and regard. However you look at it, nothing is certain right now in terms of political scene. And if you were to fly around the world right now and to do a quick survey of the continents, you would find unrest, confusion, and bitter divisions everywhere. These bitter divisions, these polarizations, they're happening everywhere. Whether the media is involved or not, people are divided. And they have very strong opinions about things. And of course, the astrology points in this direction, and your world leaders using psyops and warfare, your interfering ETs, they're all going to take advantage of these states of confusion. Nonetheless, this is a year to be tricked. This is a year for everyone to realize, wow, how stupid I have been. I didn't realize that. Everybody, including the world leaders. So what's the old expression? Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't put the cart before the horse. Realize this is a pivotal year for determining how clear you are about sorting through these deceptions, these illusions, these delusions. And for the most part, it appears that you are going to be fine, although we will say that massive changes are coming. In relationship to this reference of Nibiru entering your solar system, if it is true, and this planet is headed in a course of regularity, it of course has passed through your solar system time out of mind for millennia, many hundreds of thousands of years. And certainly, just because it is passing through your solar system does not mean that all life on the planet is going to be wiped out. There are various effects. The other important thing to factor into a year heightened by illusion, delusion, sleight of hand, and holographic tricks in the heavens, it is to remember that the number 2160 is, as our vehicle was saying to you, is a very key number. It is like the number, what is it, of the golden mean, 1.618, 1618, magical number. 2160, very powerful. And you are in 2016, a reversal, a code. 2160 not only is the approximation of the number of years that it takes for the sun to process through a zodiacal sign, and of course 12 times 2160 gives you approximately 2,600 years, or one great year. But 2160, in terms of an important number in the Anunnaki annals of numbers, it signifies regime change. Yes. And every 2,160 years, which is not actually synonymous with the return of Nibiru, that would be 3,600 years. But 2160, it's bingo. Which means that it's time for royalty in the celestial realms to lay down the crown and scepter from one family and to graciously hand over power to the other branch of the family. And of course we are being facetious because none of this happens graciously. This happens with war and might and fight. And in today's world, as the Anunnaki regime change appears to be at hand, they are utilizing the US, the Russian, the Chinese, and all the other military forces of the planet to fight one another. A big possibility, and watch around mid-August, August number 20 to 28, in that vicinity, the planet Mars and the planet Saturn, both of which are in retrograde motion now, will come into what would be called a conjunction. They would be together in the sky, approximately squaring Neptune. Very, very big stuff. Big. Could come down in mid-August. Remember this. And even though your political situations, the falsities of these conventions and all of this would be established, understand in a year such as this, nothing is a given. Anything is up for a guess. No one knows for sure what's going to come down. Hillary could be indicted. She could have health crisis. She could just go kapui. And let's say Donald Trump, Uranus conjunct the sun. He's one of the loosest cannons you've ever had on the planet. So these are some of our prognostications. In terms of health, you have the summer moons. Likely there's going to be a great fever pitch about this Zika virus. Jupiter in the sign of health, Virgo, gives those of you who are proactive a bit of a boost to explore your studies about health. If you understand that without your health you have nothing, and if you understand the mind-body connection to health, and that your health is essentially a reflection of your interpretations, your experiences, and your attitudes about life. Say that again. Your health is a reflection of your interpretations, your experiences, and your beliefs about life. Jupiter brings lots of and blows things up. That is why we said this is a great time, these next 3-4 months, to make great advancements in boosting your immune system, tuning up the body, making great progress in all these connections. Those who operate in fear, those who are eating poorly, stress to the max, there's more stress to go around, there's enough stress to, let's say, distribute it to all the planets in this solar system and beyond. There's oodles amount of confusion and stress on this planet. And the stress is what weakens the body. It creates inflammation. Inflammation is the beginning of discomfort and dis-ease, and you could have a full-blown something throughout the summer moons to create fright and fear. Then by September, August, something of this nature, approximation, Jupiter goes into the sign of Libra. And everyone says, Libra, oh, Libra is so good, so sweet. Yes, most Libras like to get along with everyone. At the highest level, Libra is a sign of diplomacy. At the most difficult level, Libra is a people pleaser. difficult to make decisions, puts the self last, which is never really important. We caught that cough there, Ms. Libra. To recognize that the other part of Libra, on a mundane or more planetary level, Libra represents open enemies. As Jupiter, which blows things up, goes into Libra, right around or just after that stress time, Mars, Saturn, and everything in August, you are walking a tightrope of let's say, possibilities to create unifying events. And it may be that someone this year, next year, wants to pull some tricks out of a hat and become a unifier, in trickster name, by participating in cosmic wars, all of which will likely be bogus. But again, this is a year of trickery. But trickery can be very deadly. And if you misinterpret the tricks, you can get caught up in having lower vibrations attack the body, things that will be harder to get off. So these are all important considerations. As we like to remind you, you are in a time of awakening. Not everyone wakes up in the same mood. Many of you have been studying this awakening for decades. Some people are newly figuring things out. Wherever you are, use common sense. Wherever you are, imagine that things are bigger and more complex than you can imagine. Don't be a know-it-all. Do not allow the internet to be your source of information. It is fine to pluck concepts here and there to get the general feel of what's out there. But when you read a book, especially a book that has some credibility, where all the T's are dotted and the I's are dotted or T's crossed, not this self-published disinformation of just spewing nothing. Remember, someone may be providing massive amount of disinformation, not because they are working for some secret organization, but because they are delusional themselves and they are possessed. And there's all manner of entities who are doing their very best to confound humankind. This is part of a collective initiation of consciousness. So overconfidence, arrogance, lack of humility, and certainly a lack of gratitude and appreciation are going to turn everything against you. And that's important to remember. All right, let's see if we can proceed forward with 1, 2, 3 Moon Musings for a dynamic discussion of the larger issues at play, and of course the role that each of you play as your thoughts create your reality and you reside in various versions of probable realities that reflect your clarity, your values, your state of mind. Let's go for it. Who would like to begin this evening's discussion?
Peace, this is David.
David, welcome. We can always count on you to crack that bottle of champagne and christen the ship of the Now. All right, proceed, please.
A couple of days ago, there was a major article in the Los Angeles Times, and it was titled Locked, Loaded, and Ready to Roll.
Locked,
Loaded, and Ready to Roll. And it was a article regarding the southern San Andreas Fault. And then what I've been seeing recently in the last few months.
And the San Andreas Fault actually runs right through Los Angeles, yes?
That's correct.
Just in case someone is not certain of the geography.
Right, and it's not just been, and I thought that was an interesting, the geologist was talking about how it was basically 100 years or more overdue with letting go. And then I've been seeing a lot of chatter about the new Madrid fault line that runs through Missouri. And then, I don't know if you guys remember, I'll refer to you as guys, but 4 or 5 channelings ago, you were speaking of the refugee crisis in Europe, and you threw one of your little cliffhangers out that makes you think, and then later on you go, aha, about the volcano next to Mexico City. I can't pronounce it, it's an Indian name, but you said, well, imagine if that were to go off in a major eruption, how you could end up with a flood of refugees. And that one has started getting very active again. So I guess I'm asking a larger question regarding Earth changes. And these articles that are coming out, are these kind of letting people know that these things are coming forward, or, I'll just leave it at there.
Well, there's certainly tumult on the planet, and there are heightened states of volcanic activity. Usually the geologists report that you have an average of 25 or some 12 to 25 volcanoes in activity at one time. You are closing in on 50 volcanic activities at the same time. Yes, Mexico City is built around a massive caldera. Recently you had big quake in Uruguay, and wasn't there one on the other side of the Pacific Rim?
Yes.
Japan, or where was it?
There was, and there were several over there. It might have been Indonesia. I'm not sure.
So, as we've said, you will see certain changes on the geographical, physical level when the planet Uranus, that stirs things up, moves into Taurus, 2018, not so far away. And if it is true that there is some manner of incoming activity from the celestial realms of space, this would stir up activity far before the sighting of such events. And this could definitely create polar shifts, magnetic shifts, massive storms, more magnetic anomalies, of which you are beginning to understand the variations of these magnetic anomalies and what they can do as far as being wormholes, mini black holes, etc. You are in for a rougher physical ride in the next number of years for one reason or another. And it is likely that one bit of something sets something else off, so that if there is activity in Mexico City, it could highlight activity in San Andreas, or it could, through underground, we were going to say laboratories, underground lava tubes is the word we are looking for, that can connect some of these volcanic sites in ways you can't picture. And these lava tubes are known to be mineral rich, and lava tubes are now recognized to be unusual in terms of having massive magnetic anomalies. Lava tubes are also being recognized as being entry points into Earth that, let's say, excavators have used, and that UFOs and visiting extraterrestrials, especially Anunnakis, who are used to a volcanic activity on their own planet, know how to manage the hydropower, all of this, etc. It's very likely that you are going to have stresses in the U.S. on both coasts very dramatically eventually. Until then, live your life as best you can, and understand that you're not going to be given warning by those who can foresee what's coming. Anything else, David?
One other question. There was a book that I got is called Missing 411. And
Missing 411. Yes, you gave it to our vehicle.
I gave it to your vehicle.
She put it in the P Times this last issue.
And for those that don't know what it's about these disappearances that have been happening. Well, basically, it focuses really more on the U.S. and Canada, but I guess it's going on all over the world. Large numbers of people disappearing from national parks, and then more recently, these guys that are found, like maybe they're in a bar in Chicago, they go to the bathroom, then the camera catches them outside, and then they're discovered weeks later in a pond maybe that's knee deep with no shoes and their pants down, and it's several of them. I mean, there was one hotel in Chicago that I think had 2 or 3 people that had died that way or disappeared.
The number's in the hundreds,
right?
Growing.
So anyway,
and young men in this particular book, 18 to about 28, 29, very smart. Not necessarily partiers.
Mm-hmm.
Very intelligent, often with a very strong athletic background, scholar athletes. And then they disappear in front of people's eyes. And then they are found, as David said, days, weeks, months later. And then, of course, it's all covered up. So, what's your question, David?
Well, I guess my question is, are you guys, can you lend any, I mean, my reaction to that is, are they going for their DNA? And then the second, I think your vehicle mentioned as a possibility, are they somehow taking these people's brains or downloading their information for use in AI? So I don't know what you guys can lend to, and you in one of the channelings not too long ago, you guys mentioned that you wouldn't necessarily be hanging out in national parks hiking by yourself.
In any really remote woodland areas, in today's unsettled world, is not a time for anyone, young or old, to be wandering alone. It is unfortunate, because even in our vehicle's memories, she has spent many a wonderful afternoon alone in a meadow or overlooking a vast scene or climbing something. But in today's world, people are being snatched everywhere. What's going on? The invisibility factor, of course, plays a tremendous part in this, and if you do a little bit of research, you know that cloaking is not a big deal. The military has sort of hinted, your U.S. military, that they've come up with blankets and cloaking devices, and if they're giving you a hint at what they've come up with, it means they've already had it for 20 years. Remember that. Any new discoveries just dribbled out when they've already been around, especially when it comes to research and development in terms of stealth and manipulation. We would say 2 things are involved, that people are targeted, especially in the bar scenes. They're watched. It's not a random act. And it's possible for someone to be followed, a smart guy, watched on campus, and it's the weekend. And most of these people disappear on the weekend, going to a party. And then they get more drunk than they usually are, which means someone's slipping them, what's it called, a Mickey? Mm-hmm. Whatever the term is. Those are old terms, but it means someone comes up and puts something in your drink. Today, people are afraid they're going to get into what they call date rape drugs and things of this nature. This is way beyond this. This is for R&D development. This is for finding brilliant minds and wiping the minds and taking, of course, the sperm. Some for RT Intel, yes, to develop the programs, artificial intelligence. There's a plan to put artificial intelligence in charge of managing Earth. It's felt by some rulers up there in the cosmos that you won't rebel against arty intel if it looks like you. Psychological studies show that if reptilians were to come down, or giants, you would rebel. Of course, because you have cellular memory, it is very disturbing, and your cellular memory goes back time out of mind. You have cellular memory of the Anunnaki branch of your own DNA as well. It's all quite massive and quite accomplished. So lots of these snatches are done for genetic purposing and for intelligence, to gather intelligence from young and old, men and women, but particularly young men of recent have been targeted, which says that if you are going to put on an invisible cloak, drop something in someone's drink, wait till they walk to the bathroom, then when they're in the bathroom, all you have to do is throw a cloak over them. Or confuse them in some way, or lead them outside with you, and they're already out of it because of the drug. Because it seems as soon as they're seen outside, they are confused and they don't know where they're going. They're walking in opposite directions. So there's obviously, we say a drug, that sounds too simple, but it serves the purpose. Some intervention is being done to make the person invisible and to confuse their mind and to have their friends to disappear where the friends are waiting for them to come out of the bathroom. It's happening in universities to young men that are located by water. Whenever you see water, you know that there's something big going on. Big lakes have often been implicated, especially the Great Lakes. There have been all manner of disappearances for hundreds of years that have occurred around the Great Lake areas. The other thing about the Great Lakes, that would be Huron, Erie, Michigan. Is it Lake Michigan? Mm-hmm. Lake Wisconsin, perhaps. We don't know all the names, but you know what we are talking about. They are very deep. If you stand on the shore, you may think you're on the ocean. Deep water, and there have been books written that all over the Great Lake regions there are ancient remnants of mining situations that would be thousands and thousands of years old. And you know, no Native Americans were running mining expeditions, as was found in the high-level altiplano of Bolivia and also of Peru and other places. Underwater ET bases, that's Enki. Enki and his branch are the genetic engineers. We do not want you to think that one branch is going to save you and one branch is destroying you. As we have said to you, there is a bit of beneficence that comes from Enki towards humankind. But also, humankind are a threat to the empire of the Anunnaki. And these Anunnaki will do what they have to do to keep their galactic empire intact. So that's something to think about. We don't want to frighten you. Actually, living on Earth and the miracle of nature and the seasons, there's no place like it. And you incarnate here for the joy and the beauty of nature. But we would simply say that weirdness is afoot, and it will be for a number of decades until more things come to light, as humankind must mature beyond the awakening that your physical leaders are criminals and corrupt. And this is where the large majority of the world is coming to realize, there's still some true believers. They think that Bernie the Sander, notice the names. Notice the names. The Sander is going to fix everything for you, or the trumpet's going to fix everything, or suddenly Hillary is going to stop taking these massive $100,000, $500,000 fees for a 20-minute talk, and she's going to help out the regular person. Get smart. We know we are speaking to intelligent people, but we want you to look at the world and to see that lots of people are delusional. And people get delusional when they get desperate, remember that. All right, David, you brought up some good subjects. Let's move along here. Who else has something important they want to bring forward?
I'd like to ask for the Rh negative blood type.
All right, and what is your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, welcome. All right. You want to talk about Rh negative blood types. Is that because you are one?
Yes.
That's usually why people want to bring this subject up. They want to know, how do I fit into this scheme? Did you have medical issues growing up? Or have you been a well-adjusted RHer?
Well adjusted, but I had a couple of miscarriages before I had my Rh positive child.
All right. So this subject of Rh negative is a big question. Everyone always asks this. Oh, sometimes years go by and it's quiet, but it is an ongoing question. And we would say that the Rh negative blood is absolutely a clue to the hybrid breeding program of the planet. And the reason that it is difficult to produce or reproduce properly or easily, let us say properly is not exactly the right term, but to have uncomplicated reproduction is you must have the proper matchups, yes?
Yes.
And without the proper matchups, there are miscarriages, things of this nature. That is because of and you know the RHs are a minority on the planet.
Yes.
And that would be an indication of an intervention of another bloodline that is compatible yet dicey with the human gene pool.
Can you share any more about where that came from?
Well, there have been all manner of matings on the planet. We would say that everyone on the planet, to one degree or another in this current era, would have in their DNA some manner of Anunnaki influence. But there are other types of matings that have occurred, and even within the Anunnaki hierarchy, there are variations. Just as within the human domain, there are great variations. So at this point, we would say it is likely a link-up to a subgroup from within the Anunnaki, a very selected subgroup that controls their reproduction and presence on the planet by a lockdown of compatibility.
Thank you.
That's a lot of words there, but you sort of get the picture.
Yes.
Good. We like to be a little diplomatic here without setting people. Who else has a question?
Peace, this is Dorsey.
Dorsey, you squeaked in.
Yes,
Welcome.
I snuck in. We had your eyes closed, you didn't see me. But I remember earlier you've been talking about stores closing, and I read an article not too long ago that Sears is going to close 7-8 stores this summer, and it was some other stuff. I know they affiliate with Kmart and some other, but I guess that's on the way. I know you said it a couple years ago.
It's big time on the way. Some of the latest prognostications are saying that, the container ships that bring products back and forth to your ports, they are leaving empty, which is not a good sign. and you are not producing enough in this country. There's all manner of inequities on the financial realms. You know the battles with gold and things of this nature, the oil boros of how oil will be traded, US dollars, other things. Basically, the financial world is in extreme turmoil. Gold is purposely being kept relatively low so as not to create a big panic. And there's the days of stability, of financial stability, are disappearing. With negative interest rates and all manner of tracking, there's no fixing this kind of thing. What many people are now foreseeing is that you are going to have shortages ahead, that other countries are cutting back, the containers will stop coming in because you can't afford to have full containers coming in and leaving empty all the time. So more retail stores closing, people not buying as much as they are kind of reached the top of buying. You have, what is the number? You have 300 million plus 320, let's say, million people, with 94 million people on the dole. That means some manner of government programming. 1/3 of the country. So yes, Dorsey, it doesn't look good, but remember, politicos in an election year will do everything to keep it up until after the election. What else do you want to know?
Well, that's it for now. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, it is. Yet let's give you some good news. More people are recognizing how important it is to take care of Earth. There are more people gardening than ever before, bringing beauty, growing food, valuing food. There are more people who appreciate the abundance of the planet. There are actually more altruistic people helping out others. So there's a rise of goodness that is happening among regular people, while at the top the corruption is growing deeper and deeper and deeper. These will not be easy years for you ahead. We do not see destruction in terms of everything on the surface of the planet being swept away. We do see a time of great reckoning. We can say to you that on the deep inside a level, there's a lot of confusion. There are people of goodness who don't quite know how to let the rest of the world understand the complexities of the issues. As someone serendipitously asked George Bush #1 about the extraterrestrial issue, and he flippantly and quickly said, the people of Earth are not ready to know the truth. And this is quite true. It's quite true, because the truth is very complex. And the truth is that some manner of extraterrestrials have succeeded in running just about every country of the world. How have they succeeded? Through infiltration, through telepathy, through entity possession, and through setting up corporations who are everywhere above the law. This is going to be one of the largest challenges on the planet, is figuring out what to do with this corporate rule. As our vehicle shared to you from Carol from the Pacific Northwest, who wrote in and said, this is this realization is the new news, news in quotes. She said it's everywhere. ANU, world order. ANU, or a new world order. That's quite a good one, isn't it? If you are looking for how ANU has infiltrated your world, your language, your thoughts, your ideas, we ask you, is it possible in your heart of hearts, in the depths of your knowing and your purpose for being here, is it possible to overthrow Anu's rule? Knowing that we in the Pleiades are also subjected to this tyranny? Something to think about. There are many a person on your planet who stays up late at night. Those in military, those in bunkers, those in places that know things that you cannot even imagine. They wonder the same thing. There are many in the know who are quite relieved that the people of Earth are starting to awaken to this extraterrestrial issue, that you are still children looking for Santa Claus and Easter bunnies and tooth fairies and wondering who is going to save you. It's an interesting conundrum that we are all in. And there's many opportunities and ways through it. That is why we suggest live every day with joy, with victory, with good happenings. And let's change the subject here for a moment and remind you what a remarkable spring it is. Have you noticed how nature is busy and alive? Our vehicle has a tree blooming out in front of our house. David said it was, what is it called, David?
Carolina silver bell.
It's worth it to get one of these trees. It is like it is just fantastic. The blossoms and the bees and the smells and the beauty. And so we want you to understand that nature works with you. And that spring came early this year all over the USA. And when the creatures move, when the colors come out, you know you have to get through the pollen season, but when the blossoms start to appear in their velvety silkiness, in colors of richness that no palette can really duplicate, your eyes and your ears and your olfactory, take it all in. Spring knows, Earth knows that you are going through a very difficult time. And when you rest your eyes on the value of nature rather than the value of what you Google, nature knows it. And yet when you are stuck on these devices, you can't give up the device, and you watch hour after hour of junk that's on the internet, or our work that is pirated on the internet that no one has asked permission to put out there, you are violating your own integrity and wasting your time. Checking in a little bit here and there is one thing. But the globalists want you to be sucked into those electronic worlds. And yet spring is saying, pay attention to us. Pay attention to the natural world. It is where you will restore your sanity, your balance, and your harmony. Remember that. Who has a question?
William.
Who is it?
William.
William, welcome.
Seems to be a lot of information that's been out there over the years about our DNA increasing from 2 strands to 12 strands.
We are the ones who originated that, so if there's a lot of information out there, we cannot speak for it. We can only say that we presented that work early on in our books.
Yeah,
what do you want to know, William?
It's a kind of a multi-level thing. You hear the word ascension a lot.
We do not discuss ascension here in this work. That is for kindergartner. Do you have a question?
I heard the please say that the Earth is going to be split into two different worlds. Is that true or not?
It's split all the time. Your concepts of it are elementary. Create probable worlds by your beliefs. And the divisions that are going on the planet now literally create separations of worlds. Does not mean the world splits in half. But energetically, things change all the time. Who else has a question, please?
Well, I have a story.
And this is
Roger.
Roger, all right. Enlighten us, Roger. What's your story?
It's an interesting story that may or may not be true, but it's worth a comment, worth your comments. I read a few days ago that there was an event in Brazil where a little boy, maybe 4 years old, passed away. And a few days later at his funeral, he was lying in the coffin during the funeral, and he stood up in the coffin and said, "I want a drink of water," and then laid back down into the coffin. And so they grabbed him up, took him to the hospital, and the doctor looked at him and said, "He's just as dead now as he was before." The question is there any way that that can have a true value to it? Is there any truth to the possibility of this little boy being pronounced dead and yet...
Roger, let's use some logic. What do you think it really is? Logic based on all your years of sitting here listening to us. What would be the likely thing that would create this little boy sitting up saying, "I want a drink of water," and then lying back down?
Well, my first comment would be that it wasn't true.
That it's what?
That it didn't occur, that it was a story.
Could be. Oh, that's logical. That part of it says to you, this is impossible. Yes. So that is why you would say this can't be true, because how could it be possible that someone is dead, sits up, says, "I want a drink of water," and lays back down? Is that correct? In terms of thinking.
Well, yeah, I would say first that coming from Brazil, they're usually coming up with stories like that, and that may be another one. But from a logical standpoint, could it occur with a body that had been dead?
Roger?
It's not a reasonable possibility that I can imagine that could occur.
Roger, the records of your world are full of weirdness. You would agree this, yes?
Yes.
And all over, from every side of the globe to another, someone's got a weird story about weird stuff. Remember, if you are, again, you said Brazil, that part of the world tends to have, let's say, southern hemisphere, from northern hemisphere point of view, tends to have more dramatic interdimensional events. Would you say so?
Yes.
All right.
So.
To be fair, you get south of the border, you get into Mexico, Central America, South America. You have a Christianity that is mixed with a spirituality, and weird things happen. And of course, people are controlled by this. And so we are working up to what could possibly be the logical explanation. And of course, it is not that difficult for a being in another dimension to animate a body for a few seconds.
Okay. That's one of the options that I could imagine.
If it is a real event.
Right.
And around the world, sometimes the soul of the body or other beings will animate it and then stop it. Mm-hmm. Not to freak people out, but just it's a weirdness. Do you understand?
Yes.
And this is because of the propensity of events like this that have occurred for a long, long time. We are guessing that something of this nature is behind it.
Okay, that's good.
use your noodles. You are not sitting here for all these years to be befuddled. You are here to figure things out, not in the head, but to say, in my gut, how could this work? How could this work? Who has a question?
Please, this is Dorsey again.
Yes, Dorsey.
I read an article about the aerial spraying to kill mosquitoes, and it's linked to 25% increase in autism. And I know anything about the Zika virus and all this other stuff. So I feel like the people are gonna promote it, but they don't realize it's gonna have side effects. It's gonna cause autism and everything else.
Absolutely, and then this spraying is going to drive everyone inside. This is going to, you watch, there's potential for people to freak out because they see a mosquito on the screen of their home. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
And of course, fear is a wonderful way to create your reality. You create reality, you attract to yourself situations by the charge of your emotionality. So if you are excited or you are joyful, that emotion goes very far. If you are curious and innocent when you look at animals, then the animals will do things around you. Roger often has good animal stories. Then you have a lot of fear. And you are frightened, and fear's in your DNA, and people are always warning you, be afraid of this, be afraid of that. It's the biggest magnet there is for attracting what you do not want, fear. This is why you are being leveraged into fear. So, yes, Dorsey, there's likely to be battle royale of elimination. If the people would spend more time really looking at issues rather than thinking someone's going to save them, you would achieve greater advancements in consciousness. And again, on another level, you have so many humans betraying other humans in the name of a job. It's very sad, very, very sad. Anything else, Dorsey?
Well, I know I read another article in China. There's a widespread of children deaths, and because of the vaccines. So, and they were arresting the protesters because I guess the parents they know it's a problem. They were getting arrested.
Yes, and in China, you know, you're not supposed to speak up. And
I thought about that too.
Yes, and the Chinese people, if you look at the number of Chinese people versus the number of rulers, it's very, very small. You have over 1 billion Chinese people, and you have less than 5% of that being rulers belonging to the Communist Party. China is what do you call that? A keg?
One child also.
Powder keg. We are not thinking beer keg. Powder keg. Thank you. Waiting. It is as if that string that goes to it, the fuse, is slowly blowing, because there's a lot of inequity in China. And this also brings up this position of deceit to the people in China. The poisoning of the people there is massive. Of course, this poisoning is happening all over the world. So, Dorsey, by the things that you print out and look up from police abuse of black people, it's definitely a given. And this issue is becoming more pronounced to spraying and vaccinations and people getting dumber and dumber, doctors killing people, hospitals, especially Duke down the road, diagnosing cancer when there's no cancer. Dorsey, you've done a wonderful job coming up with the holes in the story, and we want to say to you, hats off to you for maintaining your good attitude, your strong voice, your good equanimity and good sense of humor in light of knowing the darkness.
Well, thank you. You enlightened me also.
Well, but you maintain a good attitude. And you have demonstrated that to understand the dark on all these levels, and you have not lost your humor or your faith. And this is a tribute to you and to humanity. And it gives us great pleasure to give you this acknowledgement.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It is our pleasure. He is a Leo, you know. He wasn't here earlier when everyone was giving out their astrology and all that. And as you all know, the new policy, just to make it very clear, is that you will be signing in for moon musings and for moon afternoons. And if have to, new people will be showing identification for the very reason that we have had far too many deceitful people come into this room and have the blatant nerve to lie to us and to our vehicle. We who trust and speak to you with our eyes closed, and then people secretly go against our vehicle's wishes and record her, we, and without our permission, pirate this, and without our vehicle's permission or our permission, they have the delusional audacity then to put this work on the internet. Especially when we encourage people not to go on the internet. So this is the new policy. You will all be signing in. And as our vehicle said, this is a breach of integrity, and lawsuits may follow for those who show such disrespect for we, our vehicle, and the work we are attempting to do with humankind. That is a warning for everyone out there to show greater respect. Otherwise, get out. And when you don't show respect to we in our vehicle, you're setting yourself up for very dark energies to follow you around. Because to deceive us is to deceive yourself. If you can deceive us, you are completely delusional. Let's leave it at that. But there have been far too many lies that are happening in this room. We want to put a stop to it. All right. That stays on the CD. Who has a question?
Pete, I'm sorry, this is David again.
Yes, David.
Dorothy talked about China. It seems like the official numbers that China is putting out regarding their moderately slowing growth. I mean, what are they used to be, 7.5% or 8.5%. Now they're down to 6.5%.
Ooh, it's more like 4.5.
You think it's, I guess it looks like they're potentially in for a crash. Is that correct?
They are running out of steam, yes.
Okay.
They are running out of steam, and they are doing some backroom deals, lots of backroom deals going on, but the Chinese are going to come out, let's say, on top, and the U.S. Is not going to fare well during these times of financial reshuffling. We would say, in all fairness, it looks like right now the people of the USA are going to be the last to know, the last to realize that they have been ponzied. The Chinese, watch, as many people say, watch the bond market. Secretly, various countries have been cashing in U.S. bonds. And of course, they are not cashing them in at 100% value. There are so many cover-ups, so many deceits, so many riggings going on that as soon as some little squeak happens, things are rebalanced. Here's a statistic that came out recently. Whether it's true or not, someone put it out there. 47%, it said, of people in the USA would be hard-pressed to come up with $400 for an emergency, meaning they don't have $400 extra just sitting around. They would have to borrow it or sell something. 47%. We trust that none of our students are in that category, and if you are, you better not come to class anymore if you are that stupid. Money doesn't care who owns it, but you'd better care what you own, and you'd better get your noodles on right. It is said in the same discussion that financial ignorance is the secret shame of the middle class of America. Financial ignorance. That means the inability to sit comfortably and to have 5,000, 7,000 extra dollars just there. Just there. And that you are not running from one paycheck to another. Unless you are in, of course, a time of purchasing or something. But this is not good. Then here's another figure it says. It says that 52% of Americans are invested in the stock market. How could that be? How could 52% have enough to be invested in the stock market and 47% not have $400? Someone's lying. You would say the 47% without $400 is probably closer. Americans are a thread away from being impoverished because you are not thinking ahead. And everything's going to change drastically to force you to think ahead. Who has a question?
This is Jennifer.
Jennifer, yes.
Could you tell us who built Göbekli Tepe and what was its purpose?
Göbekli Tepe?
Yes, in Turkey.
Yes, that was, it's connected to the old colonizers. It looks as if it was built after the last flood, which appears to have occurred around 13,000 years ago, circa, that means vicinity. And it is important to understand there have been many floods on the planet. 13,000 years prior to that, or around 24, 25, 26,000 years ago, there was another massive flood. It looks as if some of the survivors of the flood from 13,000 years ago, which some would project may be the descendants of Noah, or Zia Sutra, as he was called, a relative, bastard son of Enki, that they set up the Göbekli Tepe area to reorient themselves, and it was not just a ceremonial area, of course, as many of these ancient stone structures are, but it was also a calendar in stone, a computer in stone, so to speak. Just as Stonehenge is used as a computer to calculate, let's say, solstices, equinoxes, rising, settings. And people of old, or people not so long ago, said, oh, this must be done for farming purposes. Well, yes, it is always, if you are needing to eat and to produce agriculture, it's good to understand seasons. You have to. You can't simply speculate. And, of course, understanding calendars, seasonal development, agriculture, according to the planetary records that define what has happened here over the last 500,000 years. It is the visitors from Nibiru, the Anunnaki, who have seeded all this, who have brought this to you, these galactic colonizers. What else, Jennifer?
It seems to be pointing at this time now. So some of the astrological symbols on the stones.
Yes.
Is it about the return?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is, again, if you look at the dates, approximately 12,000 years ago, some such of Göbekli Tepe, it is known that at certain junctures, certain things occur. And It was not only a marker for then, but all of these stone complexes, again, are computers that can track time past, present, and future.
Yeah, the precessional, was it 26,000 years, seems to be significant.
Yeah, and remember, the key number in the precessional cycle is 2160.
Okay.
That means the way to understand the precessional cycle is this. If you were to live 26,000 years, and you were to look at the horizon every day, Jennifer, it would take 72 years before the sun would move 1 degree. And if you were to go out and look on your porch, and you had a porch that lasted that long, if you looked at the sun, in 72 years it would move 1 degree, but not forward, backward, in terms of clockwise or counterclockwise. And then another 72 years it would move another degree. When you multiply, a sine has 30 degrees. And you take 12 sines, 3 times 12 is 36, or 360 degrees. So you take 12 sines, each with 30 degrees. At 1 degree every 72 years, it takes 2,160 years for the sun to precess or move backward through a sign in the zodiac. Does that clearly explain it to you?
Yes.
Good. And according to many interpreters, you have been and are in what's called the cusp of the ending of one age, the age of Pisces, and the beginning of another age, the age of Aquarius. And we would say that the issues that you are dealing with, the rise of robots, and you know, many people are saying that there's great tumult out west. Of course, here you are in the Research Triangle Park of North Carolina, the Research Triangle Park of North Carolina, East Coast, surrounded by many nuclear centers and military complexes up and down the coast. But in the Pacific Northwest and inland, it has been reported that there's lots of contention between men and what some are claiming to be super soldiers, challenging water rights, land rights, carrying out military exercises in the middle of the night. Complete media blackout on it. Oh, it might be on the internet here and there. But a lot of ex-military people who saw through things dropped out and settled. Eastern Washington, Oregon, Idaho, you get the picture. There's trouble afoot. And of course, different areas are being isolated, blocked out. We have suggested that some of the difficulties of the future can arise out of the ubiquitous presence of devices. Your cell phone towers, your smart meters, your satellites can be utilized to drive you crazy, to control your mind, to put thoughts in your heads, but more than that, the entire grid that everyone is so addicted to with these wireless devices are set up to produce holograms in the heavens. So if you think things are confusing now, it's going to become very challenging and very difficult. And of course, if you are not clear, and you are elementary in your thinking and thinking that you know things because you watch things on YouTube, you are going to be the first to be tricked. Remember to check inside. Remember to revert to common sense, to reason, to logic. Remember, this is a year of supreme trickery. On a larger scale, it does not matter who is doing the trickery. The Anunnaki and deluded world leaders are involved. The Anunnaki will think nothing of throwing every world leader into the sewer or enticing them to come into the underworld, into their bolt holes, their bunny holes of escape, and then to lock them down because they need them no longer. You will find betrayals in many places. It is not just people who sit before us and pretend. This is a year of sorting through who's telling the truth and who is not. And if you call for clarity and honesty, and if you ask that all people who are of deceit be exposed, it's an interesting thing to call for. You have the power to create many things. But remember, you are not going to turn a summer day into winter. Be reasonable and understand that you are here to evolve, to awaken, to live a good life. But you are not going to erase Nibiru from the sky. If this is why all people are here on the planet, to experience what one would call a history-making event, then we do salute you for your courage to incarnate at this time. But we would ask you, as we have over the decades, be clear in your thinking, live with honesty, be gracious to others. And if you are going to cheat, lie, and steal, that's up to you. But that will be what you will be remembered for. Even though you may hide it from yourself, there's no hiding what the soul is about. And so if you can reach out and help others, do so. All right, peoples, we want you to create the very best. It's been our great pleasure to be here for 1, 2, 3, another Moon Musings. We'll see you around the cosmos. Create the very best. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.